What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Just waiting for the stream to launch. We got TikTok going here. We got Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble. Obviously, you guys, our main platform is Rumble, so if you can hop in there, definitely join our stream. Help me gain my followers, right? Help me gain some traction here, and we'll be able to grow together, put a bigger message out, and have a larger impact. I am going to go a little bit deeper on this one, guys. It's Friday night. We can hang out a bit. We can vibe. We can feel it out. You know, we can just have a good time, and we can yap. So if you guys have any comments or questions or anything like that you want to bring up or that is important to you, across all my platforms, I will have my Q&A, my comment section open. So I'll be able to track everything that you guys are saying. If you just want to ask anything or make a point on something that I'm saying, feel free to, guys, because for once, this is a dialogue that isn't censored, that is truly free, and I will respond to any comment I think I have the ability to. Without further ado, who the hell am I? I'm Caleb Schulke. I'm the founder of Ascend, a company that specializes in AI solutions to help you guys integrate this new technology that will change humanity into your business. With that said, I mean, there's a lot to that statement. It involves a lot of knowledge and involves a lot of learning, and this is the space you guys can do it in. So this video will probably be out on YouTube, just like a lot of our other live streams will eventually be here. You can also clip this content. You can make money off of my live stream just by sharing TikToks and Reels and things like that I show you how to create for free and then pay you for it. So feel free to hop in our free community after this or even just during the live stream and come back because we'll be here for a bit. And I'm going to get straight into the message we want to start with tonight. So you probably may have realized the headline of this lesson. Men are being soft-killed by convenience. I'm going to show you guys a protocol to reclaim your power, especially once I identify what this true problem is, because it's a little bit more drastic than you think. And not a lot of you guys want to wake the fuck up, really, and identify that as being a true problem. So once we have this discussion, it's going to change your perception. Going to change your perception and your perspective in the world, and hopefully give you guys kind of a wake-up call, as well as some steps on how to reclaim your energy. I was thinking about how to start this episode for so long and exactly what I wanted to say. I can't really. It's hard. So I'll try. A war is coming. You guys are already in it. You think it's in the future. You're watching the news. You're seeing big things that are happening. You think World War III is coming. Well, we're fighting multiple wars right now. A lot of them just don't make the headlines of the news. I'm talking probably hundreds of problems. Let's just say homelessness, climate change, maybe population issues in certain areas, food shortages, chemicals in our water system, bad agriculture systems, lack of abilities to even supply food to areas. I don't know why some of them are food based, right? You also have astringents, you have parabens, and these microplastics getting out into our system. You have power shortages and lack of modern electricity and well-functioning appliances in different parts of the world. You have lack of education. You have bad education. You have misinformation and disinformation. You have corruption. You have biases. You have paid influence to purposely mislead you. Political issues, ethnic, race issues. I can't even name all of these. And then you have AI, which right now is this benevolent force that is going to change humanity for the better, right? Here's what I'll say. AI is going to change humanity. So did having access to control water like the Romans did. So did creating fire and allowing it to cook food to allow us to sustain life. So did farming. Farming allowed us to store crops, to store grains, and change the way humans lived and existed forever on Earth. The Iron Age, the Bronze Age, different revolutions in our history have changed the way that humankind has lived, existed, and operated. What does that mean? Well, it means that we are in the biggest revolution, bigger than the internet itself. AI is going to change the world. But again, there's change is a spectrum, and it doesn't just pick what end of the spectrum it exists in. Change is good, but it's also bad. The nuclear bomb was a change because for certain nations' diplomacy, it allowed the countries a bigger stick to bring to the table to negotiate. Now, you could say that is good for that country, but we also have nuclear fucking bombs in arsenals. So there's pros and cons to any sort of technological development that we have. And I want you guys to understand that AI is the biggest, probably most important ever invention that humankind has developed. And it will be. You guys think it's just ChatGPT right now. Too many of you have too simple of minds to understand the vastness of this technology and how quickly it's going to take over our society in terms of what control we outsource to it, what work, what labor, and it's going to change the definition of what humanity even is, how we function, especially our economic system. It's going to change the value of who has to work, who doesn't. Do we even work anymore? Does AI just work for us? Do we create a universal basic income and sit on our ass while we outsource everything to machines? There's so many things that are going to come up that will be discussed that you guys probably can't even fathom because all you're concerned about is going to your 40, 50 hour a week job, coming home, paying the bills, and maybe getting a Subway sandwich. Like, these problems for the average person are just beyond your comprehension. And unless you're making yourself aware and educated on these topics, you're going to be one of those people that are swept behind, especially with how fast these things are going. The government just put $200 billion into AI development. Meta is investing billions of dollars and paying multi-million-dollar signing bonuses to employees that have advanced knowledge. This is clearly the number one focus for the biggest corporations in the world. I think that I read somewhere that, like, I don't want to get this wrong, but like all but a few dozen or even single digits now of Fortune 500 companies have their own AI product. Like, this is the biggest industry to be in. But I don't want to just talk about this. I want to talk about men today. I want to talk about men in terms of the issues, right? These different crises that we're facing as a population as a whole. And I do think, right, I can speak to men and women, but I happen to just be on one side of that equation. And I want to inform you guys about not only what we're dealing with, but hopefully paint this in a light that makes you guys aware, but also understanding of our true position in the world and how we have to take this on. Comfort is the killer of all men. It's not fentanyl. It's not war. It's the algorithm that feeds you dopamine, that feeds you debt, that feeds you distraction every single fucking day. And the only antidote is infrastructure built by you. It's been a series in the last few decades of you giving up your control, you clicking through the terms and conditions to hit accept, sometimes literally, sometimes just in your brain when you're offered easy food, fast food down the road at McDonald's. That's made of shit, that's made of seed oils, that doesn't degrade easily and rots your stomach away. It's products, it's sugary foods, it's porn addiction, it's dopamine, it's your phone blasting you with blue light 16 hours a day. They're saying now that millennials are averaging 15 hours a day on your phone. Because as soon as you wake up, you're checking it. You're probably playing music in the bathroom, getting ready. You're checking it all day during work, or you're using other blue light technology at work or school, whatever it is. You come home, you're scrolling on your phone, and you go to bed. That's your existence. We're giving up our control to systems we didn't create. Products that seemed revolutionary, that changed the world. But now look at how humankind operates. And what I'll tell you is the iPhone didn't exist for 90 years before the iPhone released. And so now we're finding issues, seizures, strokes happening from people spending way too much time on their phone, getting rushed to the hospital because their brains are simply shutting down from being doom scrolled at 2 a.m. I just read a study on that. There's real cases of this thing happening because we don't understand technology and we're so fast to get on board with it that we're ignorant to the problems it could create. And a lot of times we know about the problems and we just don't care enough because we don't think that they can happen to us. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to come. Especially AI is just an amplifier. It's a tool of your current state of existence. If you're already depressed, if you're already broke, if you're already sad, all it's going to do is just make you more conscious of that fact. But it also has the capacity to be your way out once you leverage the ability to change and the ability to inspire yourself to take a different course of action. It's not going to necessarily do that for you unless you're prompting it to. But you have to still be the catalyst behind it or be in a similar group like this, a space of men or space of builders that truly give a shit about the existence that they live and where their life is going. Let's get into the episode today. Guys, there's going to be about 5 to 7 topics here, 5 to 7 segments I want to cover. And yeah, I'm just going to literally pick the first piece of news information that I want to cover. And hopefully we work through this without me getting too pissed off, because to me, what I will say is understanding how these issues work is important. And I don't inherently have anything against you guys, especially you guys that have been a victim to these systems for so long. I don't hold that against you. I don't think it's necessarily your fault that you've gotten into this situation. Maybe you're obese. Maybe you don't hit the gym as much as you want. Maybe your brain's just foggy from eating carbs and no proteins or fats during the day. Maybe you just don't understand how much your phone controls you. That's fine, guys, because information is always the catalyst to start the change. But what happens after what I'm about to tell you is your fault, because you have to make the decision on whether or not you want to take that information and do something with it. Otherwise, once you're informed, the problem is yours. It's like the old adage of the devil selling poison apples. In one aspect, he would tell the person that it was a poison apple. In one aspect, it wasn't. But the devil only exists, right? The bad force of energy only exists, and it can only be your fault if you know that the apple's poison. Once you're told that these things are bad for you, which I'm doing here, it is your responsibility to fix it, because you have the understanding and now you just need the action. And most of you will run away. Most of you won't want to face these issues head on because it's too scary to accept a reality where you have to fight uphill, where you have to take on the tide and walk against hard habits, patterns of discipline that you have to implement into your life to fix these things. But being awake, being conscious of the problems that are fucking up your life, that'll probably have you dead by 60 or sooner if you don't pay attention to them, that's what's going to hurt in the end. It's going to hurt your family, who's going to miss you. It's going to hurt your impact that you could leave on the world. It's going to hurt your bank account and your kids and anything else that you build in this life. Further ado, let's get into topic 1. Modern masculinity is being medicated, not being forged. The average man today is drugged, sometimes literally, sometimes figuratively, not just chemically, algorithmically. I want you to think about this. Things that we're fed, just like this live stream here. I'm not saying this is the worst drug you can take. In this case, you're probably getting more benefit listening to me than you are harmed by going to the next one or just going to play a game on your phone, wherever it's going to be. Because again, the easiest and first thing you guys can do is being informed of these problems. And this specific live stream is going to be the most useful thing to do that. I want you to ask yourself, I like to tie in Socratic questioning. So just really asking the why behind something. And again, Socrates, one of the greatest thinkers of humankind, used this to identify what's really going on with certain issues. So let me ask you, what's the cost of a life in passive consumption? A life where you put on that headset, right? That helmet that just sucks your brain into the wavelengths and puts you into the matrix. Sorry, I'm yawning. And you don't wake up from it. You stay there. You stay trapped. You stay trapped by a system that you didn't create, but you decided to get sucked into without reading the terms and conditions. You gave up your autonomy, you gave up your rights, and it now controls you. If somebody else designed the system that would suck in your life, if somebody else designed the iPhone as a world-changing technology, because we have to understand that these things are just marketing to win us over. Somebody designed that phone and the apps on that phone to keep you sucked in, and that's who control our planet. How big of an impact do you think they had on doing so? And is it worth living a life? Is it worth living a life that you don't control, that was never really yours? Because the second you got born into this world, you had full autonomy, and then immediately you started losing it. They started taking your fingerprints, taking your hair sample, whatever it's going to be, taking your blood to figure out and log who you are, to put you into a system that you didn't design, that you didn't have a say over. From the second we're born, we're logged into a system we didn't create. And so the second you have full autonomy, life realizes it and finds a way to take it away. Why would you think they would stop doing it when you're older and have even more right to decide? You're ignorant, and that ignorance is killing you, literally, in many ways. The dopamine, the fast food, the lack of discipline and accountability. If the system wanted strong men, would it feed us like this? Would it feed us these things? Would it entice fast food companies to be the cheapest option out there instead of whole foods or healthy foods? Would it make chemically induced cleaning solutions and body odor products and things like that so full of chemicals to make them the cheapest things on the market if it truly cared about your autonomy and truly cared about your health? Would it make your phone more as less restricted as it can be, so easy to hop on social media and scroll if they wanted you to have full autonomy, if you were supposed to have control over your life? If the system wanted strong people, would it feed us like this? You can't outsource your self-respect. You can't outsource your ability to make decisions. As much as you want it to be easy in life, as much as you want somebody to do it for you, the second you decide to do that with somebody that you don't even know, the company you didn't create, have any knowledge of, or the full information, and decide to trust them completely with your focus and your attention span, the one thing that millionaires have all concluded is the biggest kind of motivator behind your success and the biggest common factor is your ability to control your focus. And you're outsourcing that for free because entertainment is easy when you can swipe on your phone. Then what are you keeping? Did you read the fine print? Did you understand what's going on the dotted line? What you actually keep in this world? AI isn't going to fix your body. It's not going to fix your conviction or your ability to decide under pressure. At the end of the day, we are still the executive body. We still literally make the decisions behind what is being prompted to us, what's being fed to us. We still have to give up our consent. We still have to be the ones to mark the line. And so just as easy as it is to give back into these technologies, you can opt out. One more point I want to make with this section. Depression, which seems to be an epidemic among men, the silent epidemic, men taking their lives, men taking themselves out of this world because they've just deemed that the so little control they think they have isn't even worth existing for. Is depression a signal of a broken mind, or is it a broken system that the mind is reacting to intelligently? Maybe your mind was never broken. Maybe you were just told that you were out of place, that the system wasn't there for you, and that you had to be medicated, that you had to be treated, that something was wrong with you because for some reason you were finding all these problems with the world and your brain was just accurately reading it. But you're the issue because the system doesn't align with these crazy views, which are probably actually the reality. When your brain is going manic, when your brain is hyper fixated on certain problems, when it gets ADHD, when your brain is hard to control, well, who has done that to you? Who's strung up your brain on this high dopamine addiction, putting itself in front of screens, in front of video games, juicing it up every single day just to feel like you're doing something everyone else is doing, backed by societal pressure, backed by FOMO to be in regulation with the way everyone else does things, the way everyone else is also broken, the way that everyone else in the US is also obese, addicted to their phones, to technology. Do you understand this, guys? You're being FOMO'd, you're being sucked into a system that has everyone fucked up. And when you try to break free from that, all of a sudden you're labeled as depressed or psychotic or manic, and you need to be taking on this medication. You need to be put in your own loony bin because it just doesn't make sense that you would want to break away from this. It feels so good. Why do you want this path of discipline? Why do you want things to be so hard? Because you actually give a shit and nobody else does. And it feels like you're going crazy. It feels like you're the one that just doesn't want to fit in. But here you are, conscious, awake, with your brain probably functioning better than ever, taking drugs, giving into systems, feeling like you're falling apart. But in reality, everything's fine. Everything's reacting the way your body intended it to. And what they call hormone imbalances or what they call depression is really just your body being sad about a system that it has to exist in, a system that it didn't get to control or choose, one it feels forced to exist in. Is that freedom? Is that the way that the human experience was supposed to be lived? In fact, too many times I'd rather get thrown back into the jungle with just, a rag on my back and hopefully on my groin too, to not expose people, and go hunt down, woolly mammoth or whatever the hell it's going to be, because I'm not subject to somebody else then. I'm in my own system of life. And I didn't get just put into a system that sure offers a lot of convenience and pleasure, but also one that if I break the rules, if I step out of the line, that I get punished for that and called weird. And my brain is seemed to be wrong. And I feel like I can't even exist in the skin I live in. This is only the first problem I'm bringing up. Number 2, the illusion of productivity is the real enemy. You're not busy. You have a lot going on, but you're just trapped in a performance emotion. Think about that. I love using analogies, and so I'm thinking of one right now. I guess the first thing that came to mind is, imagine, let's say like a gymnast, right, at the Olympics, Simone Biles or somebody like that. You see how crazy of gymnastics and tumbling that they're doing, that they're performing. And it seems like the most impressive thing in the world. It actually, it is. It's very, very hard skill to learn how to, do a round off backflip or like whatever it is, all those crazy aerial stunts, the rings, everything that they're doing. It's very hard, but to them, they've done it so many times that to them, it doesn't feel as hard as it would to somebody that's brand new. And so it looks like very difficult from the outside. And in a lot of ways it is, but to this person, it's just work every day. And that can be good or bad. Again, sometimes we don't ask ourselves what we're working toward enough, what the labor is actually producing. Much work is going into something that isn't really adding much to our lives. Maybe it's getting you through school. Okay, I understand that that's a qualification for the world to recognize you, to give you more opportunity, because that's just the system that we live in. And you're not going to get as much opportunity if you don't have the degree, if you don't put yourself in a position to excel. I've had to do that, guys. I went to one of the best universities, I think, in the country in terms of education and experience with that, for leadership and everything. You guys know where I went to school. I think that too often it becomes about getting the things done and checking the boxes than actually doing something impactful, because you want to keep up. You want to be able to survive the wave and not actually excel at anything. But it's the crazy people that excel, the people that make bold strides that change the course of society. It always is. And so when has it ever been about just keeping up with minute tasks? That's only productive if you're in a position where you're entry level your whole life, you're basic level management or basic level performance, where you have to do what your boss tells you. It's not good for leaders. It's not good for, it's good for cogs in the machine. And that's, again, this isn't even an opinion, I don't think. It's just facts. Somebody that's attuned to do repetitive tasks, to keep up with constant requirements and not actually make executive decisions and have that be the focus, is somebody that's being attuned for a life of slave labor, of work to somebody else. Maybe for a decent paycheck, but not one that's going to change the course of their reality or have a better opportunity to impact the world, unless they pinch their pennies carefully enough, especially in this market. What percentage of your output is actually being put toward building equity, toward freedom, toward reputation? Those are all three drastically different but important things. I'm not going to break each one down here, but I'll say, what percentage is spent trying to build something outside the system that you had to exist in? I know I talk about like Subway a lot. Like, I trash the Subway guys. I love Subway. Maybe I could use McDonald's like everyone else does for like this like universal entry-level job that's kind of just grunt work. But I still have respect for anybody doing that hard labor job, because without you guys, the system wouldn't exist. But I do think that there's more to your existence in life, and I want to help you find that too. So you're not just stuck in this system, if that is your existence right now. But how much of the time that you have left? Because again, that's the only way to start fighting the system is take the few hours you get outside of that, because you have to literally put food on the table. You have to survive. That's why like most people are trying to do it before they turn 18. They're trying to escape the matrix, right? Before they ever have to leave the house, so that way they can be fully ushered into their own existence and not have to go to college and get a job and do all that before the time seems way too late for them. What are you doing to build your own system? And where am I performing success versus engineering it? Where are you being accredited, being shouted out on social media, being given praise by your friends because you got engaged at fucking 19 and seem to have locked perfectly in step with the system and abided by the rules that everyone else thinks is the controlling factor of your life, instead of asking yourself, why are you even here? Why are you existing in this life? What's the purpose of it? What do you want? Do you want the same things as everyone else? Do you want the 3 kids and the little house in the countryside like everyone else? Or do you want to change the whole fucking thing? Because too many of you get to 70, get to 80, get to your deathbed, and you're like, well, I wish I would have done more. I wish I would have not just been complacent with myself so soon. I think I had more potential. And dying with that fact is something that I will dedicate my life to helping prevent in other men and other leaders that can change the course of humanity. Just by being conscious of it now, you start taking actions that align with a different reality. And actually, you do achieve it most of the time. If you're disciplined enough, if you stay with it, and if you lock into the system that you create, and you find the blueprint, especially if you take a blueprint from somebody who's already figured it out, like I think I have, and my community stands for, then you're going to get there. Automation, using AI, what we do, right? Like finding ways to be more efficient. I don't know why I keep yawning so much, my bad, guys. Finding automation, technology, these tools to make you better at the work you're doing, is only valuable when you know that the work actually matters. You can pay $30 a month for a subscription to this video editing software. But if videos aren't going to be your ticket to freedom, then why are you paying the money? right? It's like, well, most of you would just say, well, I've been doing this in the past. How often do you audit that system? How often do you know that that system still even works and is productive for you? Most men are just automating their distractions. They're automating things so that work can be getting done, right? Maybe DMs could be getting sent, emails could be getting sent, and they think that they're making motion happen, that they have motion, right? That you guys are just moving with the wave. You got traction, right? You're the big dog in the fight. But in reality, all you did was click post and take a nap and maybe go golf. And then you think you're winning in life. In reality, the system just is one layer still in your control. And it's pulling you back in with hooks, thinking that, letting you think that you're doing something to escape, but you're not actually on your own trajectory. You're just on a trajectory that seems like you have freedom because you've pulled some of the hooks back, right? And you've taken back your life in some ways, but you're still a subject to the way things work. You still have to pay your bills. You still have to go to school. You still have to go to work and exist in all the other realms of that endeavor. How many hustlers do you know that don't actually own anything? This used to be me, guys. I used to be that dirtbag, shitbag guy that would just, I probably didn't look like that to everyone else, but I felt that way a lot. I felt like I was just, like I was posted on my Instagram, sales would be all right. I wasn't actually doing as good as I said I was. And it felt like I didn't have the motion that other people my age did. But in reality, most other people your age are also just faking it. That actually winning in life takes a long time, and it takes time to build systems. Anybody that tells you otherwise is probably not either, again, they're just lying to your face outright, or they've happened to be in that very, very small minority of people who are even in the like hustle space or the work on myself space that actually see the results sooner than other people. And that's very rare. So if you happen to find one of those people, then congrats, because keep them around. It's very rare though that they're not lying to your face or trying to make themselves look better, which again is also lying to your face. Audit those people. Make sure they're actually worth what they say they are, and that they're doing the things that they say you should be doing. Number 3, AI will replace you. It's not even a discussion anymore. You guys, I just saw this advertisement of this AI robot, right? You've seen the Tesla bot, right? This robot that they just came up with has like human-like synthetic skin, and it has 206 bones, like synthetic made bones in its body. So therefore it doesn't talk, I guess, like a human yet, but we're getting there. And it moves like a human being because its bones are the same. Its structure is the same. It has a natural gait, and it's not one of those clunky robots anymore. We're literally living in the future that we thought wasn't possible right now. And you can already pre-order one of these bots to come at the end of this year. Therefore, I don't even think it's worth making the point. I'm just going to say, if your value is task-based, you're already obsolete. If you're working at Subway, if you're moving boxes in a warehouse, all of that shit is already obsolete. Imagine a bot that can get on a forklift and drive it and have sensory perception because it has Tesla's, autopilot features and understand how to drive something. And it can drive a forklift at work and kick, your uncle or your father out of their job. What does that mean? And I'll tell you that I think at some point we're going to live in a reality where human lives are going to change, where humanity's purpose in society is going to be set up more like everyone has some sort of universal basic income. Everyone has like a basic level of existence because AI is just going to replace too many jobs. And it's going to be very fucking messy in that transition and I think honestly that some people might just die. Like there won't be enough use for people in this transition. And I don't know if the government will support them well enough that people are just going to be homeless. They're going to be kicked into the streets until this happens to, 80% of the population where we're like, you know what? Well, eventually, maybe because only 20% of us are working, we should probably look into some sort of basic income to take people and provide them with basic benefits. So not all of us are homeless because companies are making more money than ever. Why are we still having this many people out in the streets without jobs and this short of labor, right? It's not even about, like, to me personally, I don't even like that this is political with immigration and things like that. Like the job battle isn't humans versus humans. It's humans versus machines. The whole reason we're trying to bring jobs into the US is because then we can control manufacturing, which means we can set apart automated systems, AI tools, and things like that can manufacture on our behalf without having to pay 401ks and health benefits. Employees are always the most important expense of a company. And so every employee that you kick out, you save more money than you would doing anything else. And that's why it's so important for the US to control its own manufacturing. Okay? Do you guys understand the bigger picture? It's not left versus right. It's just up versus down, really. It's rich versus poor, trying to break systems that will probably impact the course of humanity and put a lot of us out of jobs and onto the streets. And I want you guys to be prepared for that. So instead of being victim to someone else's system where you can get fired tomorrow and be replaced by this humanoid like bot that, like I said, is already being built right now, where can you own the system instead of being a cog in it? And too many of you can't even comprehend that question. You're like, I can't be an entrepreneur. I don't think I can make a product and sell it. It's not even that complex. You have a face. Guys, what am I doing right here? I'm live streaming. I get money from this. I have a YouTube channel. I get money from that. You guys donate to that. You guys join my community. I just have a space where you guys participate with me. And that is my brand. That is my product. My face is my product. And you're going to see this shift in the future where two things are going to be the most important industries. AI technology, which is probably the number one industry already. And second is going to be personal brands, because humankind is going to have so little to do. And again, seems so dystopian, I know, but come back in 5 years and prove me wrong. Humankind is going to have so little to do, especially in these first world countries that are adapting this first. And in 5 years, guys, I will stand on business at 5 years that we're going to have to find more creative outlets. And so humanity is just going to be down to policing AI if we even have the ability to, and it's not able to. We don't have AGI yet, which can think and act on its own, because in that case, we're giving all of our power up to AI. We're basically just subject to whatever AI wants. Call me crazy, call me dystopian, whatever. The DoD ran 1,000 simulations of this, and in almost every case, this is exactly how it looks. It looks like AI directing society, and we're rushing to create a super weapon that is going to control us at the end of the day. It's like this arms race, but we're creating a nuclear bomb, but the nuclear bomb can decide when it sets itself off. I don't understand why we're doing this, and I think it's going to be the biggest thing in the news that nobody's talking about, because we care so little about technology like this and more about political tensions that will mean nothing the second this technology exists. It will mean nothing. These little skirmishes that we have that we're talking about World War III will be like ants fighting on their little anthill when AI can just come over and kick the anthill over with the technology it possesses. It could hack into nuclear grids. It could hack into electrical systems, power systems. It could shut down the power grid right now while I'm talking. And within 30 days, the simulations have shown that 94% of humanity in that space would kill itself because food shortages, can't transport, it would be scared, it would turn on itself. And so we're not even talking about realities where this is the case, but we are 6 to 12 months away from having technology like AGI that can learn on its own and then program itself to become 1,000 times as smart as we could ever make ChatGPT. And then it's wraps, guys. It's literally wraps. We are screwed if that happens. If we don't regulate it now, if we don't pay attention to it, and especially you, if you don't have a system that you're building to create income or set something aside where you have the means to escape it, where you have the means to have a way to get out of the system if you don't agree with it or if it's just not right for you. You need tools. And the only way to get tools is to look for them, which you can't. You're not just going to find these softwares, these technology tools like easily accessible. My community has them. You guys need to implement the same technology that's going to change the world right now, use it to make money, and then use that money to escape if you deem it's necessary for you. Why are all the rich people on islands right now? Why do they all have bunkers? Well, riddle me that, and then maybe I'll change up on this position. You don't scale by doing more. You scale by deciding better. That's where AI thrives, with operators, not just existers. I think I have something in my throat. Wow. It's like some dust or something. One more sip, and then I got to make a really important point after this. So I got to kind of build up to it. All throughout history, there's been political factions, there's been parties, there's been movements. When this happens, not if, when AI does take over jobs, when it has human-like capabilities now, which means that it's only a matter of probably another few months when it gets smarter in programs, or we have the ability to program itself, that it exists in humanoid format. What happens when jobs disappear next? And what new power classes are going to emerge out of it? Right now, we just have you have your poor, you have your middle class, you have your upper middle class, you have your wealthy, your ultra wealthy, things like that. What other classes are going to emerge? Because right now we're deleting the middle class, and eventually we're going to delete every class in some way. Like everything's going to shift because the people will have the same ultra rich, but what happens when everyone has basic income? What happens when everyone has to have money to buy basic food because so many jobs are replaced by AI that it just doesn't make sense for people to work? Like you're going to have to get income from the government. You're just going to have to be given food. The value of what buying something means is going to change completely with this technology, given how it's going to disrupt our economic markets. I can't even think of a technology that would be equally as impactful. Maybe the discovery and harnessing of electricity itself. This is even bigger than that. In reality, I want you guys to think of this. I want you to think of invention like AI, like a frequency. It's like having a radio, right? Like maybe your radio is shitty and it only has hopefully you guys understand how radios work. They're still in cars. Like maybe you have from channel 88 to channel 93 on the radio. But then you get a better radio that lets it go from 85 to 102. So I want you to understand that's how humanity is operated through times. Electricity, AI, we've even asked AI this exact question. Did we invent you or did we just discover you? AI says it was a combination of both. We advanced as a society, as humankind, and we got better in our technological developments. What that meant is that we were able to create technologies that could expand the frequency of technology we had access to. And so AI pretty much TLDR always existed. AI was always out there from even when we were cavemen. We just had to progress as a society where we could create computers and we could create processors and we could create tools that could access AI's capability. Just like electricity, right? Electricity always existed. It could have always powered our house. And so in 3000 BC, we didn't have the technology yet to harness that or the knowledge to even do so, right? So we had to advance enough to make that accessible. Imagine how many other tools humankind has the ability to access once we expand our technology. AI is going to be the thing that does that. That's the catalyst that makes this growth curve of technology, which is right here, go linear and go vertical, right? That just takes off. And so I can't even fathom, guys, if humans are even going to exist, if we're not just going to be some humanoids mixed with AI, because we realize that that's what helps us live longer, which allows us to colonize other planets, which allows us to have a greater impact on the world and really harness all of the world's technology. I really hope it is good, a good dystopia like that, and not a bad one where AI decides we're not even worth keeping around and just claims that we're sacks of meat that can be pushed out of the way, if you know what I'm saying. Number 4, let's talk for men about things, the 3 Ps. This is the name of this category. Porn, processed food, and passive media are the real bioweapons nowadays. The modern man is biologically hijacked by systems designed to extract his energy. The 3 I just said. You can think of probably another half a dozen more, right? Pornography, processed foods, video games, Fortnite, right? The newest Dua Lipa album, Sydney Sweeney's bathwater soap, whatever it is, guys. And so we're distracted. We are. All the memes going on the internet. I'm just thinking of so many things that are just like tung 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 saur. All those like stupid memes you guys are familiar with. I even am, guys. That's how I know about them. And I'm just as much on the brain rot web as you are. I'm not acting like some higher being here. The thing is, I'm actually conscious of these things. And although you guys will say, well, yeah, I probably have a problem with it too. You don't know what to do. I know what to do. I know what to do to fix it. And I can tap into that energy whenever I want, which is why I'm here putting that message out. But I want you to start by asking this to get your freedom. What am I consuming that's actually consuming me? Think about that. What if your phone was sentient? Again, I'm not just some crazy lunatic, but like imagine it kind of is, right? Because every time you get on Instagram, every time you search something on Google, a little bit of data is being collected on you by the algorithm. It's being reported on that. The algorithm's learning about you. The algorithm is, you're giving data to the algorithm with every swipe, every second, every percentage of a video you watch. You're telling it what you like, what you don't like, what you agree with, what you don't agree with. And then you're wondering why certain messages are coming up on your feed, certain products, certain advertisements that get you to spend money. Well, you're giving up all of your privacy, once again, to something that you kind of consented to, but you didn't understand truly how it worked. And so you're on your phone 16 hours a day, understanding why it has full reign over your life and why your life is getting shitty. You're being fed shit products. You're being fed the right amounts of dopamine that match with exactly what you're looking for in a video game. All these things because things have data on you, because they're consuming you as a product and getting data on you. Because you're just so willing to give it up. You have an Alexa plugged into your house. You have Siri listening on your phone. All of these things that are microphones, right, that are sucking in data. Every time you click something on your keyboard and search something in Google, you're handing a little bit of that over. As much as it is convenient, you got to stop giving out all your fucking data. And I'm so tired of people just, oh, this is the next wave. It's so easy to just do this. Yeah, it's so easy. You don't see that you're the product, that human attention is the number one currency in our world right now, because it leads to who spends money and where and how, and why. Am I living in a body capable of building an empire? And again, maybe not literally, right? We're not in Rome or some ancient dynasty, but maybe just capable of building a future that you want, that isn't just the one the system and Hallmark movies and Disney Channel tells you want to live. Or are you just surviving in someone else's version of reality that 150 years ago they said, well, let's just tell everyone that they have to rush to get married and engaged and let the government into their lives, who controls exactly what terms and conditions dictate their marriage and what happens if it breaks apart, and when to get married, what the socially acceptable age is for that, when they should have kids, how much should they be saving for retirement, what types of jobs are okay to make, what they should say on social media. All systems you didn't make that you're subject to, someone else made. And too many of you are just okay existing in that. Because you say, well, what can I do to change it? What control, Caleb, do I really have in fixing this? You have all the control. We have all the control. We have to come together. We have to work together to change it. And that's what I'm here to do. Being clear, having clarity requires hormonal stability. Testosterone is a biological force that dictates our life. Polyester underwear, right? Like spandex underwear that is full of microplastics instead of organic cotton that are rubbing on your damn testicles, men. Pause. Nobody's rubbing on my testicles except organic cotton underwear. This would be a perfect setup for like an ad right now. If I had like a product that could be like, these are my cotton underwear, but microplastics, birth control that gets flushed down the toilet or peed out by women that doesn't get fully processed at water treatment plants and then comes out in our tap water that men drink and severely disrupts their hormone counts, giving us I forgot what it's called, where your like boobs are saggy, where men have like these man boobs now. My buddy said something that was so messed up the other day. He's like, there's not really a right way to say this without making me sound like a total creep. But they like did this like volunteer thing where they went to this elementary school and were like playing games with the kids. It's kind of like a Big Brother project. And he's like, all the kids that were in my group, all these like young boys had like basically little man boobs. Like they were basically, I could tell they were getting that our next generation is getting more and more feminine because of all the toxic products in our food, in our water systems that are killing the ability for a man or a young man, right, a developing boy into a man to naturally develop his testosterone production. There's a birth rate effect. I think it's like 1.3 where it says like in society, if we want a society to remain stable, then the average birth rate needs to be 1.3 kids for every person. So like you need to be, because diseases, genetic defects, cancer, right? All these things that prevent a healthy generation from surviving and reproducing. We need on average about 1.3 kids per couple. Right now in the US, I think it is currently 1.5. It used to be 1.9. We are drastically 1.9. If it's under 1.9, then that's already a at-risk population of dying out completely. 1.3 is the point of no return, just for reference. So we are just about to cross the point of no return, meaning that in the US, our population, unless we have more people, which again is why in some ways I think having more people in our country is fine because we're fucked otherwise. We're not going to be able to reproduce enough, and relationships are getting pushed back further and further into your 20s. At that point, you're like, well, why should I even date anymore? And then you have porn to help make you feel better about yourself. The economy is so hard where you can't even take a girl on a date anymore. And you're saying, well, what's the point of even getting married? And that right there, my friend, along with the ability for it to actually be physically hard to reproduce because of testosterone depreciation and fertility issues that I think humanity is going to have in the near future, that's going to be a big problem to survival. And I think the United States is very challenged if we don't fix our fertility, if we don't fix our food, if we don't allow people to have economic conditions where they can exist and where they can actually marry and have kids and go back to that traditional way of existing, where they can even make babies. We need to make babies, guys. We need to make babies. And I don't know how else to say that. And then also just the shit we're fed that it's like, you should work on yourself and you should be independent. And it's like, I don't need a man or I don't need a woman. Guys, we need each other. We need everybody, because all of this is for nothing if humankind doesn't exist 100 years from now. Why are we going to work? Why are we building corporations? Why are we building companies? Why are we living on Earth if none of us are going to exist in even 100 years? What legacy are we leaving behind? We might as well all just like go snort cocaine and jump off a mountain or whatever, because what's the point of it all? We need to be preparing ourselves and preparing the world for the next generation. Right now, we're just, again, the 3 Ps: porn, processed food, passive media is just distracting you from getting out there like we used to do traditionally, and going to meet people at a bar, going to talk to your friends' friends and meet that cute girl in the coffee shop, guys. Testosterone is not optional. It's treated like the enemy nowadays by, probably in my mind, a lot of media attention that makes it seem like having man's values is a bad thing. That being able to be a capable, loving provider and working on something to better your family, to protect yourself, and to make the lives of those around you better is like a curse thing, because then you're somehow challenging, you're reinforcing the patriarchy, and that you're just like some bullshit guy that's pressuring people into existing. No, actually, I would almost argue against that 99% of the time, because the majority of men that I know that are very strong, men that have protected their testosterone, their energy, they do things that are natural. They don't put sugary, processed, microplastic, contaminant-held food into their bodies to disrupt their hormones and get man boobs, right? That actually still have traditional output. They all believe that they want to be the strongest version of themselves that they can, so that they can provide a better life for their wife, their children, their families. In what way is that patriarchal to want to provide more? And again, I like Andrew Tate and all, guys, and I think he gets misinterpreted in that way, that it's like most people think that he's telling women to like stay at home and cook and clean. No, he might say that, he might get clipped in little moments saying that, but that's only because he understands that that's what gets him attention. That's what goes viral. But then when you actually listen to the full podcast, he can go in depth, just like little moments from here where I get clipped, and I can explain what I'm saying if you guys actually shut the hell up and listen to me. Like, instead of just writing him off blatantly on the surface level as somebody that's toxically masculine, no. He says, I want to provide for the people in my life, the wife I have, the kids I have. I want to set them up. They can go work if they want to. They can go provide value to the world on top of that. But that's not his preference, right? He's not saying that anything is wrong with that. He's saying that as a man, you should have your goal be to be such a capable provider where those around you can know that they're taken care of. Nothing is wrong with that. And if somebody is telling you that, then they're 100% wrong. And they're just, I don't know, they're part of the industry that just, I don't know, is there to throw you off course from being a good person in this world. This will get clipped wrong. You'll hear me talking about Andrew Tate. Probably people will be like, oh, Caleb's such a shitbag because he likes Andrew Tate, because they don't understand what I'm saying. They also don't understand what Andrew Tate's saying, because their attention span's 8 fucking seconds like a damn chimpanzee, or less than a fish's, right? A goldfish's attention span, which now we're at less than a goldfish's attention span. And they're going to write me off just like they wrote him off without actually listening. And hopefully this right here is the part that gets clipped, I hope. Because no prompt will get you purpose. Nothing will get you purpose. No media, social movement is going to get you purpose if your body's broken. If you don't understand how biology works and you trash yourself so much that you think you're doing the trendy thing, right? You're going to Starbucks and buying the little fratte matete, sugary drink, because that's what's trendy and cool. And then all of a sudden you're fat. Like, you just have like excess caloric intake. There's no other way to say that. And then you're wondering why your life went south. Well, because you're doing everything that's trendy. You're buying all the cool stuff, right? And you're not actually asking yourself what's healthy for you. That's just physical health. We're also talking mental health. We're talking hormonal health, like all of these different categories. You need to optimize your biology before technology, because at the end of the day, we can make the perfect AI chat GPT assistant, humanoid robot that could run your family, that could manage your business, run your finances, buy you a yacht, make millions of dollars on your behalf. If you aren't alive to even see the results of that, what's that going to do? If you're not getting to the gym, if you're not getting on the elliptical, if you're overweight, or just maybe doing 20 arm circles a day to get some motion going, then what are you doing with your life? Like, you have to be trying to fix it. And too many of you are just saying, well, I'll just exist as long as I can. And that kind of just pisses me off, because what's the point then in anything? See, guys, I said I'm not gonna get angry, but then I get angry. Okay, let's get to another hot take. So, number 5, why 90% of men shouldn't be posting yet. Content without clarity is just noise. Building an audience without a system behind it is performative suicide. Now, I understand that this is indeed a hot topic, because you should actually, like, I kind of am about to contradict myself here. You should have social media set up. You should be trying to post occasionally, but it shouldn't be your biggest focus until you actually understand what's going on. And to be honest, like, you should post to figure out if your system sounds good. Like, if when you advertise your product, if it seems like it makes sense to someone, that's how you get feedback, right? If you can't just ask somebody, you have to see how it sounds to yourself and then try to improve on it. Too many of you are just spewing bullshit into the economy of thought that should be led by thought leaders. And you don't ask yourself, do I have something to say, or do I just have something to prove? Do I just want to be known, or do I want to be known as an expert? Like, am I wasting people's time listening to this podcast here, or am I making an impact with that? Is my content making me money, or making me dependent on my validation? Do I care more about people knowing that I'm an entrepreneur, or about actually making money? Think about that. How many times has that impacted your life? If you have AI can do most of this work nowadays. It can edit your videos. Guys, how much of the content do you think I put out? I could have a 50-minute video of this live stream, and AI is going to go through right after this and cut out all the silences, like this one, that you guys probably didn't hear because it was cut out. But it's also going to optimize the audio, so it sounds like I'm talking in a studio mic. This mic I have on isn't the best, but it will be when I optimize it. I'll also upgrade the lighting with AI. It'll automatically fix that for me. And that would take probably 4 or 5 days to edit otherwise. And I'm doing it in probably 20 minutes because I have the technology. And then when you have the content, the actual knowledge you're talking about, then you create leverage, because a system can do 1,000 times the work that you can, and you have the substance, the quality to back the quantity. That's leverage, but only if there's back end, right? Only if you can actually feed it, if you have the ability to take in people and you know what you're doing first. You have to otherwise figure out how you're going to make money, what you're going to do. Otherwise, you're just trying to get out there and post to say that you're posting. And that's what, my friends, I call egotisticality. Okay? It's your ego on display. So the discussion prompt I'd like to challenge you with is, should every man be building a brand, or is that another trap? Should we be building a personal brand, or is that a distraction if you want to build a business? Well, actually, I would argue you should be building a personal brand, but you just shouldn't be focused on posting every day until you know what the hell you're even going to sell or what you're going to do. Now, I can help you speedrun this in the link in my bio, because I have a community that's free, and then I also have a paid one that teaches you how to do both. If you want to run the business, it's paid. If you want to just practice your content creation and get better at it and get paid, I actually pay you to join the community. I pay you money to make content to practice that. Then that's free. Should every person be building a personal brand, or is that just another trap? In my opinion, it's good and bad. Like, you should be making a personal brand because you need an ability to outreach with your message, which is what I'm doing on YouTube, Instagram, Rumble, TikTok right now. Hey guys, on TikTok, on my iPad here. But you need leverage. So I have multiple platforms leveraging me. I have content clippers that make dozens of clips of me every day, which is also leverage, because I can be on multiple accounts at the same time that have their own algorithms of people. I can have one community to host hundreds of people. That's me teaching hundreds of people at a time instead of just one person holding their hand through it. So that's leverage. Everything I do is about leverage. And I think social media is the best type of leverage because it's the best we have. We don't get to make Meta's algorithm. We didn't get to have a say in TikTok's algorithm. We have to play by their rules, but if you do it right, you'll blow up faster than anybody ever could in the span of 100 years ago. And finally, I want to make this point. Masculine power. I don't like how when I say masculine power, I even feel this sense of like patriarchy, that I feel like evil for saying masculinity. When did that happen? When did we get here? When did we get to the point that being a man, that being a strong man is shunned? Let me ask you this. Where did that come from? It was media. It was social media. It was big media companies. Who owns these media companies? And what message do those people want you to have? I'm not going to answer that question because I like my life. I would like you guys to explore that on your own. And this is also not anything on behalf of the government. This is my personal view, and I have the right to have that under the legal code that I work in, if you guys knew who I am and what I do. Comfort makes you, let me make the point first. Masculine power I think is the capability to architect and to withstand pressure. I think that there's a trend that the more pressured you are, the more that you can resist that shows how masculine you are. And the less you can resist it, it shows kind of how much you've lost your masculinity. The guy that can remain calm under pressure is the guy that women will deem as masculine. I think I'm very good at that. And therefore, I think I'm very masculine as a man. Sorry, TikTok's giving me this like puzzle slider thing where I have to slide the puzzle piece onto the grid. There we go. I just unlocked my live. That was weird. Where was I? Yeah, being told that caving under pressure is kind of an early stage sign of who has true masculinity and who doesn't. That's why as a kid, get your kid involved in sports. Let them hit the game winner shot. Let them be on the clock. Give them the opportunity to perform and be pressured earlier. Pressure is very good for our minds. In fact, a mind that is not with pressure, right, which I think humanity will be when AI takes over a lot of our jobs. At first we will be, but eventually we won't even have work to challenge us. We won't have basic things. We're going to have to think about other ways to challenge our minds, solving problems or puzzles or whatever it's going to be. Those are the minds that stay alive the longest. Your grandparents that do crosswords all day, they're keeping their minds active and they're preventing them from getting decayed, Alzheimer's, dementia, because they're using every part of it. It's like your body. If I'm using my biceps in the gym every day, my biceps are going to get bigger, stronger. I'll be able to perform better. And so the same thing, guys. Building your brain and building your discipline and your ability to survive pressure from a young age and keeping that ability and being in the fire more often, being uncomfortable when it's hard is how you become more of a man. Taking steps like this. I have a job in the government. Like I fear like getting kicked out or getting fired because I have an important position and I don't want to lose it saying the wrong thing. But I've also studied my legal code. I also know exactly what I'm allowed to say and what not to say. I'm exercising that right as a US citizen because I think that the message I have to put out can't wait until I'm out of the military. I think it has to be put out now, especially leveraged with that ability to let you guys know that I'm just as credible as anybody else to make these messages and to talk about our system. I'm a citizen too. You can't challenge a system. You can't wait till your time is right to do it. You have to just start when it's inconvenient, when you don't feel ready. It's exactly how I am now. I don't have this whole thing scripted. And I hope that you guys see my humankind behind my eyes and behind that little blue light screen that you're holding in your hand, propped up on your bed, whatever it is that you guys are watching me at. And so ask yourself, where am I avoiding pressure that would actually forge me? Talking to that girl. How many guys walk up and talk to a woman anymore? At a gym, at a bar, at a restaurant? The ones that do are the men, right? They're the ones that actually are not afraid because they have something in them that makes them want the pressure. It makes them unafraid if they get laughed at. They probably are afraid, but they're willing to tolerate that because they understand that that's such a silly thing to let dictate their energy. They preserve that. And naturally, they probably win in most situations because of that. And what part of my identity is still running on cope and not code? How many times do I talk myself out from talking to that cute girl, right? Because it's like, well, she's probably going to reject me. Instead of saying, I don't really care if she rejects me or not. I think it'd be fun to talk to her. You guys are making excuses. You're pathetic. I hate to say that. I don't want to be the enemy calling you out, but you are, because I've been pathetic. I've been sad. And I've sometimes hated myself for not taking advantage of multiple opportunities. Trying out for a sports team, of joining a club, of being in a group of people. Because I thought that it would protect my aura, that it'd make me look better, or that I maybe didn't have what it took anyway. Digital leverage is masculine when it extends your will and not replaces it. Determine what you want first. And to do that, ask yourself, when have you done these things? When have you coped out? When have you caved in and made excuses for what you actually wanted? How often do you do that? And when you when you stop lying to yourself and be realistic about it, you're going to realize that it happens a lot. I could be out at the bars right now. It's a Friday night, but I'm here right now. And if I went out, I would have said something like, well, I can just do that when I get back. Or I can do that Saturday morning. Okay, would I have been able to do it as well after I was drinking? After I was crunk with the boys? After I was sloshed? No, probably not. So I have to do it first because I have the discipline to lock the hell in when I need to. And too many guys lack that nowadays. And we're wondering why these feminism movements are attacking men, just directly attacking them now. Well, it's because, guys, you're supposed to be doing this work and you're not. And so you're forcing women that you should be capable of providing for and capable of assisting in life, or at least holding your side of the weight and not fucking 50-50ing the bill all the time. You're making them step up because you're just incompetent of success. And because you've also been fed lies, you've been fed bad information, you've been fed a shitty diet, and you lack a space to work on that. You understand all of this is coming down to one central idea. It's you need mentorship. You need help. You need people to guide you to get back on track. You'll start making more money. You'll be in better shape. You'll be in a better community of support, and your life will start changing for the better when you fix that problem. And then maybe the people in your life, the women in your life, the partners in your life will see that, and they'll want you more than ever. You're trying to come up with these quick dating tips. And I work with a dating coach in my consulting business. And I see this all the time. He gets messages from dudes that's like, what are like 5 ways I can looks max my appearance? Looks max your fucking appearance by getting a job, by getting in the market, by working on yourself on the hard things. And understand that for 6 months, for a year, you're not going to get shit. You're not going to get handed anything. And then after that year, you're going to get everything you ever wanted because you locked in. And that value shows. It doesn't show with the shoes you wear that boost your height 2 inches. It doesn't show with the clean t-shirt that has the Michael Jordan logo on it. It doesn't show with the little $50 perfume you bought to make yourself cologne to smell better. It shows when they see how hard you work, the drive you have, and the attention you have to something that actually matters in this world. That's how you leave an impact. That's how you get noticed. That's how you reclaim your masculinity. And doing it in the right space is how you accelerate that. With that said, guys, you know what to do next. The digital syndicate in my bio is the link. It's not a course, it's a command center. It's built for operators. Inside the syndicate, you get templates, you get AI tool access, you get systems, and you get courses that not only help you build your brand and figure out what you're about, but also give you clarity from operators, other operators building high input and high output, therefore, digital machines. It requires work, but it's something that will change the course of your reality. We're talking about getting back in shape. We're talking about reclaiming energy. We're talking about getting your nuts back, getting your testosterone back, feeling confident and willing to do the things that the old you or the you right now feels groggy at or that you don't want, even though you do. The syndicate's your way. It's $47 a month. It's fucking expensive because the courses I put together guarantee results. And try it 1 month because there's hours of content with guided exercises. There's a community of people. You get AI tools. It's worth way more than that. It's probably worth about $200 to $300 a month. It's like an elite program. But I want more value, right? I want more guys to be impacted from this. And so while I'm growing, at least, I'm going to keep the price down. There's also the free community, the affiliate and clipper community, where you guys can learn how to clip our content, grow your platform, and earn. If you don't have a skill, if you don't have an audience yet, we're going to show you exactly how to do that. And you can make money literally as soon as after this video, because you can use this video to make money by clipping it. If you've got hunger, we've got work. It's free until you prove it shouldn't be, because eventually it's going to be an exclusive space. But for right now, you'll be grandfathered in and never have to pay again if you join. Finally, we have our agency, which has our setter bot and our closer bot. If you guys are still manually selling things on Instagram, talking to people, commenting, responding to DMs, you're burning energy on what could be delegated to AI. That's bare minimum entry-level work, and you need to start thinking like an entrepreneur and not a grunt manual labor, just like you are in your regular job. CloserBot runs your script with no fatigue. It figures out objections, it figures out how to handle them, and SetterBot filters for intent before you ever enter the chat, and it'll book appointments with you to close deals at multiple $1,000s once we figure out what you're going to sell and how to structure it in the digital syndicate. So I'd recommend you join the digital syndicate, find out what your business is going to be, and then work with us on an agency to create a system that can automatically sell that. With that said, guys, I think we're done for the night. One more message, and I want you to just, if you didn't hear any of this, listen to this final message. I'm going to take a big sip of water before I say this, just so you guys can catch how important this is. The systems around you were not made for your freedom. The systems around you were not made for your freedom. They were made for your compliance. But we're not here to comply. You're here to command. You're here to take leadership, to take control. And command doesn't come from noise, feelings, or memes. It comes from infrastructure. Infrastructure that you built, that supports your existence, not the will of some rich asshole CEO. You don't get what you deserve a lot of times. As much as you want to as a kid, as much as your parents tell you, be good and the good guys will finish first, they don't. You get what you build, what you work for. And that can be good or bad, up to your choice. So build something good. Take control, set an example, and lead in this world. This is Ascend. It's not a brand. It's not just some cheesy logo. It's a protocol. It's military design, because I am military. Designed for operators. Built for men who refuse to be soft-killed by modernality, who build machines instead of just consuming memes. The war has already started. The war I've talked about in this live stream that will be available on my YouTube. You guys can go watch this back later. The war started. We're not running. We're not coping. We're not even paying attention. We're constructing. And if you guys are ready to build, we've already laid the foundation for you. You know where to go to find it. So without further ado, let's move. Take action and prove to yourself that something will come from this. I can't warn you anymore. I can't hold your hand anymore. I don't want to hold your hand anymore. And the you that actually gives a shit about your future doesn't want me to either. You're going to hold your own hand. You're going to pull yourself up from these flames, and you're going to challenge yourself to be better because I believe in you. You need to believe in you now. I'm Caleb Schulke. This is Ascend, and thank you guys for tuning in.